At least 28 people have been killed in a car bomb attack in the Turkish capital, Ankara. The attack also left more than 60 people injured. The Turkish military says the bombing targeted a convoy of military service vehicles. There are conflicting reports about the source of the attack. Some security officials say militants of the Kurdistan Workers' Party are behind the blast, while others blame Daesh terrorists for the incident. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the attack, saying Ankara's fight against, quote, pawns behind such attacks will grow more determined. Erdogan also noted that attacks like this know no moral or humanitarian bounds. Meanwhile, a mini-summit on Europe's refugee crisis, which was due to take place on Thursday, has been cancelled because of the bomb attack in Ankara. To discuss that further, and I joined Mr. Wahid Hassan, who is an independent scholar and political commentator, and he's joining us live now via Skype from Berlin. Wahid, as always, thanks for joining us. How do you feel about this attack? Do you think it's Daesh behind this, or do you think it's the PKK?
Well, first of all, my heart goes out to the families of the victims, as always. But, you know, it's pretty obvious that there is, because of the crossing wires of Turkish security personnel, that you know, this may possibly be an internal false flag event by MIT itself to shore up support for policies that Erdogan is trying to push in maybe invading Syria and escalating the war against the Kurds.
Right, so certainly many people would see this as blowback as well, Wahid, because obviously Turkey has been heavily involved in Syria for quite a while now. How do you feel about such arguments?
Well, blowback in the case of Turkey, you know, it's a pretty complex argument, given the fact that we know that the Turkish state basically holds ISIS and a lot of these Takfiris on a short leash. It has been providing their supply lines and what have you, and giving them intel. So, you know, the Turkish state is a benefactor to these people. So what is blowing back exactly? And the Kurds are saying they didn't do it. So the only likely conclusion is that it is probably a false flag event.
Right, and so what does this mean then going forward? Certainly we have these operations against the Kurds, as you've mentioned, within the country. I would imagine that'll only get worse then in the coming days?
Obviously, they're about to escalate the war against the Kurds and also make another bunch of incursions probably into Iraq against Kurdish positions there, and possibly into the Kurdish strongholds within Syria as well. I mean, Erdogan is determined to basically stamp out any kind of Kurdish resistance to this Takfiri army he's assembled in Syria.
And so how destabilizing do you think this policy of Erdogan will be? Because many people would argue that Turkey is heading down a very dangerous road. It
is extremely destabilizing for the Turkish state. But it also helps Erdogan himself or his lackeys, you know, basically clamp down more and beef up and shore up their security state.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there at that point. But as always, Wahid, we appreciate you putting that all into context for us. That was Wahid Hassan, who had been speaking to us live from Berlin.